Hello everybody, my name is Rachel and welcome to my channel, Kalanati. Today I am continuing my SF Masterworks reading project with The Man Who Fell to Earth by Walter Tevis. This science fiction novel was published in 1963 and it is about a man named Thomas Jerome Newton who is actually an alien. He is a man from Mars, or as he calls it, Anthea, and he comes to Earth on a mission to amass a fortune, build a spaceship, and save his people from their dying planet by bringing them to Earth. So he arrives and begins using his knowledge of superior Anthean technology to make a fortune. He builds like this electronics technology empire, and then he begins building a spaceship, and people begin to suspect that he shouldn't have this knowledge. It's a little bit far out there. The story really is about how Newton becomes human, and one of the major ways that he becomes more human is by falling victim to the weaknesses, vices, and temptations that humans do. It's actually difficult for me to pinpoint why I enjoyed this book so much. It's a real downer. There are no happy events and there's no happy ending to it. I think that the strongest element of this story is that it's very well written. Tevis has a way with words, and I felt like he was in control of the language, in control of the story, and it didn't go too far. It's kind of reined in, I guess. Just from page one, I knew that I was going to really enjoy the writing, and I think this is a strength that not a lot of older science fiction has. I've read enough sci-fi from the 50s and 60s, even like 70s and 80s, that is pretty atrociously written, and yet that's kind of normal. This is actually well written. And I think I also kind of sympathized with Newton. He's very much a human man in so many ways, but his sense of depression and stress and isolation and being trapped in a situation that he's probably not going to overcome, I felt that. I really did sympathize with him. However, the main thing that I kept thinking about when I finished this book, like I closed it and immediately thought, why is there so much drinking in this novel? It's like the story is just doused in gin and scotch. All of the characters are alcoholics. Almost every single scene depicts people drinking, usually to excess, usually until they're just in a drunken stupor, whether they're alone with their own thoughts or with other people or at social events. Everybody is drinking all of the time. And that is, the main temptation that Newton falls victim to. He becomes an alcoholic because he's trying to self-medicate. And it wasn't until after I was done with the book and I was reading about it and reading about the movie version that I found out that Tevis was basically an alcoholic when he wrote this book, which is not a surprise. I think he realized that he had a drinking problem when he was writing it. And in some ways that made it even more uncomfortable. I initially thought that this was like a sign of the times, kind of like how cigarette smoking is just rife in a lot of movies from the period. I thought maybe drinking at home and on the job was similar, but no, I think this is a bit of art imitating life, a little uncomfortably, a little bit too much. And it's one of the things that I think makes the book really, really sad, is that all the main characters, Newton, a scientist who works for him named Bryce, who's the other viewpoint in the story, and then Newton's housekeeper, they're all alcoholics for, I think, pretty much the same reasons. You have this real feeling like they're disconnected from society, that they're kind of aimless and purposeless or stressed. They're all self-medicating in a really unhelpful way. Just there's this sense of loneliness and disconnect that I kind of associate with the 50s, 60s era of emotional repression. Don't talk about your problems, don't talk about your feelings, just drink, smoke, get on with it, Ooh. So yeah, I'm not really sure why I enjoyed the book so much when it has some pretty uncomfortable elements to it, but it is a good story and it is very well written, and I would recommend it because of that. Those are all of my thoughts on The Man Who Fell to Earth by Walter Tevis. I will definitely seek out his other novel in the SF Masterworks line, which is called Mockingbird. I'm really curious to see if I will continue enjoying his style and storytelling in other books. Let me know if you have read this novel and what you thought of it. Maybe leave me a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back to talk to you again soon in another video. And until then, bye.